Hi, I'm Dr. Akshay Dhandha, consultant orthopedic surgeon, and today I'm answering every question men have about neck and back pain, but never actually get a proper answer for. Let's go. Arjun Mehta from Mumbai asks on Reddit, I wake up with a stiff neck almost every day. Is it just my pillow? Should I worry? Yeah, I get this one a lot, and honestly, blaming the pillow is the easy answer. The real answer is a bit more interesting. The pillow can contribute, but most daily morning stiffness is from muscles and joints being overloaded the day before. Here's what's actually happening. When you spend hours looking down at your laptop or your phone, your neck muscles work like a support cable all day, every day. They do not get rest. That leads to muscle tightness and also irritation of small neck joints. At night, if your pillow pushes your neck too high or too low, those already irritated tissues get stuck and you wake up stiff. Now, here is the reassuring part. If stiffness improves after a warm shower or 10 to 15 minutes of moving around, it is usually a mechanical load problem, not a dangerous one. But if the pain shoots into your arm, if you get numbness or tingling, if your grip feels weak, that suggests nerve irritation. And that needs evaluation. So, do not sit on that one. Karthik S from Bengaluru left this one on YouTube, and I think a lot of people can relate to this one. I work from bed or sofa. Can that really mess up my back? I mean, yes, 100%, and I say that with love, not judgment, because half the country is doing the exact same thing right now. Here is why it's a problem. Your spine has preferred positions for long sitting, and bed and sofa work usually forces the worst one. On a sofa or bed, your pelvis tilts backward, your lower back becomes rounded, and that increases the strain on the disc and ligaments in the lower back. At the same time, your neck moves forward to see the screen, so the neck muscles are overworking too. Now the problem is not 1 hour. 1 hour is fine. The problem is 6 to 10 hours every day of the week. Your body adapts to the wrong posture. Your hip flexors get tight, your glutes switch off, and then your back starts to feel fragile, even with totally normal activity. Act if pain is recurring or if it is there most days of the week, even if it's mild. Mild and consistent pain is still a signal. Rohit Sharma from Delhi posted this on Twitter, and honestly, this pattern is more common than people think. My back pain goes away with a painkiller, then comes back in 2 to 3 weeks. Why? This is the most common pattern I usually see, and it's frustrating because it feels like the pain is being managed, but it's actually just being postponed. Painkillers do reduce pain signals and inflammation, but they do not fix the problem. If the real driver is weak endurance of core and hip muscles, tight hips from sitting, or poor movement habits, the problem machine is still running. The moment you return to the same lifestyle, the pain returns. Think of it like a leaking tap. You can mop the floor every day, but unless you fix the tap, the leak keeps coming back. What concerns me clinically, and this part matters, is that people keep repeating the cycle for months and years, and over time, your nervous system becomes more sensitive. Act if pain is recurring more than once, even if it improves in between. That is a sign you need a plan, not just relief. Nikhil from Pune commented on YouTube, and I want to address this one very carefully. Do I need an MRI? Everyone says I have slip disc. Alright, first, breathe. Slip disc is one of the most overused, under-explained phrases in Indian healthcare. And let me actually explain what is going on. Most people do not need an MRI immediately, especially in the first few weeks, if there are no red flags. Here is why. MRI shows structure, not necessarily the cause of pain. Many people have disc bulges on MRI and zero pain. So if we scan too early, we often find wear and tear that sounds scary, and that can increase fear and actually worsen disability. A sensible approach. First, history, exam, and a nerve check. If pain is improving, continue conservative care. If pain is not improving after a structured rehab trial, or there are nerve signs or red flags, then the MRI becomes important. When MRI matters sooner, weakness, worsening numbness, bladder or bowel issues, fever, weight loss, trauma, or severe night pain. Akash Verma from Hyderabad sent this as a DM on Instagram. I get tingling in my arm or leg sometimes. How do I know it's a nerve problem? Good question. And the answer is about pattern, not just sensation itself. Tingling can happen from tight muscles or a bad posture, but true nerve irritation usually follows a specific pattern. Arm tingling often follows a line down the shoulder and arm to specific fingers. Leg tingling often follows the back of the thigh and the calf, and this is a classic sciatica pattern. Also notice, does coughing or sneezing make it worse? That can increase pressure around the nerve. Does sitting worsen the leg tingling? That's common in sciatic nerve irritation. And the most important sign, weakness. Tingling without weakness can still be manageable, but tingling plus weakness means most definitely the nerve is struggling and you should see an orthopedic spine specialist or a neurologist. Do not wait on that one. Suresh Iyer from Chennai asked this on Reddit, and this one is very specific to how a lot of us commute. I ride a two-wheeler daily in traffic. Can that cause back problems? It absolutely can contribute in two specific ways: vibration and jerks, potholes, sudden braking, uneven roads. These create repeated micro stress on the spine every day, both ways. Static posture. On a two-wheeler, you stay slightly bent forward, shoulders tense, core braced, and for long durations. Your spine is holding a fixed position under load and it does not love that. Now, combine that with a desk sitting for 8 hours, poor sleep, and that is why many men feel significant pain at 30 or 35 and genuinely can't explain why. Practical clue. If your pain is worse after the commute or improves on weekends, commute load is part of the story. Act if pain radiates down your leg or feels numbness in the foot. That is not just muscle fatigue. It could be something more. Deepak Pillai from Kochi commented on YouTube, and this word spondylosis causes unnecessary panic. I'm 35 and someone told me I have cervical spondylosis. Is my spine aging early? So spondylosis is a word doctors use for wear and tear changes in the neck, small joint changes, disc dehydration. It sounds alarming, it's really not. I want to give you the honest context. It can start early because modern life gives the neck a big daily load. Long screen time, phone posture, laptop use, constantly looking down. But here is the important part. Wear and tear is not a sentence, it's a warning light. Many people with spondylosis on an X-ray live completely pain-free with the right habits and strengthening because symptoms depend on function, not just what an X-ray says. Hand clumsiness, balance problems, frequent falls, or widespread numbness. These suggest spinal cord pressure and must be checked urgently. Everything else, manageable with the right approach. Rahul Desai from Nagpur tweeted this, and I hear this from a lot of patients. My family says physiotherapy is unnecessary. Is physio actually real treatment? Your family means well. But on this one, I have to be straightforward. For most non-urgent back and neck pain, physiotherapy is the main treatment, not an extra, not a feel-good add-on. Because the root problem is usually weak endurance of support muscles, stiff hips and thoracic spine from sitting, poor movement patterns, and nervous system sensitivity from repeated flare-ups. Physio does not just give you exercises to do at home. A good physio checks your movement, identifies the weak links, and gives a progressive plan for recovery, like any other rehab for any other injury. A simple truth. Medicines can reduce pain temporarily, but what rehab does is reduce recurrence. This one came in from multiple people, Reddit, YouTube, and Instagram, all asking the same thing. What are the red flags where I should not wait? Save this, write it down if you have to, seek urgent care if you have to. New or worsening weakness in the arm or leg, balance issues, clumsy hands, frequent falls, back pain with bladder or bowel control problems, severe pain after an accident or fall, pain with fever, unexplained weight loss, severe night pain that is worsening rapidly. These signs are uncommon, but these are what we call as red flags. If any of these are happening, don't wait. Don't Google, don't ChatGPT, don't ask WhatsApp. Immediately go and get it checked out from your neurologist or an orthopedic surgeon. Look, back and neck pain have become so normalized for Indian men in their 30s and 40s that most of them just absorb it. They call it stress, they pop a painkiller, they move on. But the men who watch videos like this, who ask the right questions, they are the ones who catch things early, manage them properly, and do not end up with a chronic problem at 45. If you're unsure whether your pain is a simple load problem, a nerve irritation issue, or something that needs urgent attention, you can consult a verified orthopedic or physiotherapist on Practo for personalized guidance. They will help you understand that is it something that you should monitor or act immediately. If this video helped you, share it with a guy you know who keeps saying, my back's been off for a few weeks but I'm fine, because that guy is probably not going to look this up himself. And if you want to keep up with actionable advice on the stuff that actually matters, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon.